Dale Comstock is a former Army Delta operator who has seen more real-world action than most combat veterans in today's military. He's a highly respected operative who doesn't do many instructional videos. Today, he's going to reveal a simple handgun disarm tactic that I hope you'll never have to use, but I implore you to learn this technique. Make sure you only practice with inert weapons, with the trigger guard removed. With this technique, you could literally tear your finger off, or much worse. Always think safety first when you're training. Here's former Army Delta operator Dale Comstock.
You may encounter a mugger or somebody in the alley that's going to draw a weapon on you. We're going to concern ourselves with handguns today because most people aren't going to assault you or try to attempt to rob you with a long gun or a rifle or something like that in your normal everyday setting. When practicing these particular disarm techniques, ensure that you're not using a live weapon. It's better to use a rubber inert type weapon. Secondly, make sure that your training partner keeps his finger out of the trigger guard. That's for his own protection, so that he doesn't, you don't end up breaking his finger, which can easily happen with these two techniques. What I'm going to demonstrate to you is a technique for a frontal disarm for a pistol and a disarm from the back. Regardless of the attitude of the weapon, whether it's down low or whether high, it's up high, the technique is the same. It wouldn't be unusual for you if somebody draws a weapon on you to pull your hands up. In fact, they may demand it from you. So go ahead and bring your hands up. Don't bring them up so high that you get ridiculous about it, because your hands are not going to do you any good up here. So get them down about eye level. Bring them in as closely as you can. This looks normal to him. He probably wouldn't suspect anything different from you. Have your hands here. Next. The key to this whole technique is to move the weapon to the outside, away from your center line. It's been proven that if you push the weapon across your body in this direction, you have a 99% chance of sustaining a gunshot wound to your torso. However, if you push the weapon to the outside, if it's done properly, there's almost the chances of being hit are nil. All right, what is the technique? Essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to target not the weapon itself, but the palm of the hand. I'm going to use a combination of movements. One, by using the palm heel, I'm going to push the weapon itself. As I push the weapon, by using that rotating movement we discussed earlier for throwing punches, I'm going to kick the heel up and out, and I'm going to turn my body sideways. By doing that, I'm reducing my profile. In fact, I'm cutting it in half. At the same time I'm doing that, I'm moving the weapon offline. So I've moved basically the weapon 2 to 4 inches out, reduced my body in half, and hopefully the weapon will be now oriented past my body. And that's the objective here. So it's this, move the weapon. Now my backhand. Some people forget to move their back arm, and if you leave your arm up there and the weapon does go off, which you can almost expect to happen, there's a good chance you're going to shoot yourself in the hand, get yourself shot in the hand with the arm. So as you're doing this movement, you have to train yourself to drop your hand and get it out of the way, move it behind you. So let's change positions. Again, this is the movement, but it doesn't stop here. The next thing I'm going to do, once I've cleared the weapon, I've reduced my profile, push the weapon offline. And by the way, make sure you're only pushing and not hitting. If you hit the weapon, it's going to end up way out there, and now you've got a problem. You're not going to get to the weapon. So you just want to push it offline, just enough to clear the weapon. Now, my other hand is going to come up from underneath, and I'm going to grab the receiver of the weapon. Grasp it. It may go off, but if it goes off and you have it in your hand, it's only going to go off once, especially with an automatic. It's going to lock. It's going to jam the weapon. A revolver can be. You can obviously fire a revolver again, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to control the weapon so that he doesn't shoot us with it. Next, make sure I have a firm grip on the wrist. I'm going to pull the weapon into my chest with the muzzle oriented away from me. Don't pull the weapon in this fashion here. That's why it's important you keep your thumb on the other side. It will kind of help give you some standoff. Pull the weapon in, I step forward at the same time, and now, using a rotating action of my feet by kicking my heels up and out, I turn my waist and I turn the weapon back in on him. By doing this, I break the wrist, and if he's got his finger still in the trigger well, two things are probably going to happen. One, he's probably going to discharge the weapon, and two, you're going to break his finger in the process. Now, by the time he pulls the trigger, he's probably going to end up shooting himself in the process. So one more time, a little bit faster. Person comes forward from the other side. And there's nothing wrong with talking to your assailant. Make them think you're ready to comply, and you may want to comply. In fact, If you think he's not going to harm you and all he wants is your money in your wallet, it's better to just go ahead and give him the money in the wallet, whatever he wants, and call it a day. However, if you know without a doubt that he's going to take your life, or you feel like he's going to take your life, and this is your only option, you know, give yourself a chance. Maybe say something to the person, get him looking at your face, distract him. I mean, you can go so far as spit in his face just before you actually execute the move. But you want to change his train of thought before you actually execute. But once you execute, hands are up, push out, force him down, take the weapon.